my banging, my swinging, my coup. DeVille, scoop, DeVille, like that right
What do you really want? Really want what the hell? You should know. What do you really want?
Welcome to Neutral Voices. I'm Dr. V, and this is In Depth, where we dig deep in the trenches of what matters.
Yep, definitely want to give a shout out to everybody. If you have not been over to our social media platforms, we need you to take a ride over there. Please like, share, subscribe. If you have not, then also get on the bus, take a trip over to our social media page, which is YouTube. We need you to go over there. We need you to subscribe. We need you to hit that notification bell. So anything that we send down the pipeline, you'll get a notification letting you know that we're going live. Dr. V, what you got for us tonight?
Woo, I got a heavy topic. I don't know if y'all ready for it.
Is it heavy?
It's real. You
Man.
what? I don't have
ain't got no yet?
birth control in my cup. We're talking about birth control and abortion.
Deep topic.
Oh my goodness.
Very
I can tell you.
opinionated topic.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes. So, as we think about which angle we want to approach this, guys, I do have a video I want to start with.
Bill Gates said what he said. As a matter of fact, that's why that collage that was put together, that multiple clip collage of multiple interviews that he had, he said the same thing in different areas at different times. The same thing. He said it. So if you don't want to get it by now, maybe maybe listen to the fact that he mentioned that his father was a part of Planned Parenthood. He said that in part of the interview. Right there. Listen to the other part. If his father was a part of Planned Parenthood, what was the objective of Planned Parenthood? He said his father. Now you're talking about in the 30s now.
Right.
You're talking about someone by the name of Margaret Sanger, who's the founder of Planned Parenthood. What did she say the purpose was? Margaret Sanger, who was an honorary Klanswoman. Margaret Sanger, who used to give lectures at Klans rallies talking about the population of Negroes and particularly has to be lessened. Margaret Sanger, who said that, quote, Negroes are like human weeds and should be exterminated, end quote. Margaret Sanger, who in a black and white interview that everyone can go look up on YouTube right now with Mike Wallace, sat there and said that I believe, quote, I believe that bringing a child, I believe the greatest sin is to bring a child into the world, end quote. You can go watch that on YouTube right now.
Margaret Sanger strived for a society that limited births to only those she deemed fit to have children.
Well, I think the greatest sin in the world is bringing children into the world that have disease from their parents, that have no chance in the world to be a human being, practically. Delinquents, prisoners, all sorts of things just marked when they're born. That, to me, is the greatest sin.
Oh my God.
Yipes. What's
that's
going on,
heavy.
Margaret?
Man.
How you doing?
Okay.
Man.
Yeah, Margaret, she had her whole agenda,
Yeah,
like
she
her
had
own
a-
personal
right.
agenda.
Right. Yeah, that's all she
Crusade.
had. Yeah.
I'm just saying, so we start thinking about the Negro Project, and KKK.
Right.
This woman really was for sterilization of a race of
Yes.
people, one in particular,
Yes.
and that's us.
The Negro race.
And, and wonder why. Where did all of that come from? So her connection with the KKK, and so thinking about Planned Parenthood, and yes, we do have them still today, and they are under the disguise of different names.
Yes.
And we are actually real close to one right now.
Yes, we are.
And so one of the things that I discovered is that 4 out of 5 they're actually positioned in the neighborhoods closer to our people, so that we can walk to there and walking
Yes.
distance.
Yes.
And then here's the other thing. They don't just disguise themselves. Well, let's just say they set out to target other things and say that they're going to check this, and you can
Right.
go there for other things
Yes.
like STIs and things like
Yes.
that. But ultimately, they're in position to destroy a race of people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we elaborate on who Margaret Sanger is?
The devil.
She, Margaret is actually one of the main founders of potentially what grew into be Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood.
Just so our viewing audience can understand that. So her sister, and another person, which is Fania Mendel, those 3 sisters, those 3 ladies, were the ones that actually began this process of growing what we call today Planned Parenthood.
I think she basically said it all when she said that it's a sin for a child to be born.
Right.
I mean, she pretty much summed it up right there.
And I got to bring some, before we get heavy, I got to bring some levity to this conversation. As Jill and I was watching that video of her, I leaned over to Jill and I said, it doesn't look like she had many children.
Well, in all actuality, she did live a normal life.
Yeah, she did. I know. I was just,
The husband,
Yeah.
and she also had 2 kids.
yes, I was just messing
He
with
just
Jill.
thinks
But,
about
you know.
her sexy.
I mean, well, she,
sexy.
she was on Planned Parent. Planned Parent. Yeah. Yeah, she only had 2 kids. She got in and got out, huh?
So, do you guys feel like Planned Parenthood is or was developed and brought to fruition specifically to control the population of certain races? Period.
Prior to doing my research, I would have had a different opinion. But I would have to agree fully with that statement. But had I not done the research, I would probably be leaning towards the other direction.
And that's absolutely what I say.
So,
you
in
know.
your research, what did you find that moved you to go in the direction that you're saying you're in?
But before you say that, Jill, one of the things, because I want to see if we were on the same page, we thought it was a place for you to go if you were thinking about it, or if maybe the young ladies had a oopsie, you could send them to Planned Parenthood so that someone could talk to them
Right.
about their choices.
Right. And when I was younger, I mean, girls that were my age or in my high school, like they went to Planned Parenthood for their birth control.
Yes.
So that's what I've always associated Planned Parenthood with, you know, because they do give out a lot of birth control. They do a lot of free pregnancy tests, you know, things like that, STD testing. But yeah, after digging into this, I mean, it's actually quite disturbing.
And dark. Yeah. So like one of the things that I discovered, 38% of their abortions are performed on women of color. And when you think about that, 13% of the women are black women. So, you know, of the whole population.
Right.
And so when you think about 38% of her abortions are performed on young black women, that's amazing. So they are a target.
Are they a target, or is it because of circumstances?
No, in her book, they're a target because she was for sterilization. Remember, she felt like they were like weeds. She wanted to uproot them, period. So working with the KKK. So there was a whole agenda. And so with Margaret Sanger, her agenda is too big to even get into. I mean, to go that deep into, because it was that major. So.
Well, I kind of with James on that one.
What?
With that question.
What's the question?
Was it already a target, or is it due to circumstances?
When you
when
say-
a person, when a female go there, is it them being targeted to go there, or is it okay? I'm in a bad situation.
Well, I mean, that's gonna be it. That could happen, but I'm just saying her agenda. So when we start looking at her agenda,
Well, I mean,
like today, there's a reason why people are saying we need to get this woman's statues out of the Smithsonian and from everywhere else where people are putting it on a pedestal, because she was a racist to the core.
It started off one way and became something else.
Did it?
You think it didn't?
No, I'm just saying.
I'm asking you. I mean, do you think it did in that direction that she wanted it and end up being a whole nother direction? Because like you said, when you first thought about Planned Parenthood, you thought about...
That's because I didn't know. I was too
understand
young to really understand
and I
it.
get that.
Yeah.
But as you know, it is come to the point where it is a place where a person can go get checked for STDs, a person can get birth control, a person that's, you know, do my, what's the, when they rub your stomach with the, what's the name? Ultrasound. Yeah. I mean, that's where I like one way and ended up a whole nother situation.
Yeah, but when you say a whole nother situation, what is that situation?
Let me explain the situation. So when E's talking about it, so it goes to Brecht's exams, right?
Mm-hmm.
The annual numbers, let me give you annual numbers, how productive they really are in a lot of things that they do. 570,444 breast exams, 614,361 cancer screenings, 216,000 well women exams, 2 million provisions of birth control information and services handed out and dealt out. Over 2 million. So their numbers are insane.
Wait, I'm going to give you a number to blow your mind, too. 972 children killed daily, and most of them are black.
So when you say killed, I mean like
Yes.
it goes back to circumstances though.
Yeah, but
So we really can't. Yes, abortion is real, right?
It's real.
But
It's real.
we don't know the circumstances of those 900 and some whatever you're giving. You know, we don't. So to look
Yeah,
at it
we
and
don't.
to look at it and give it a twisted narrative rather than looking at the fact how many of those women were from assault cases of being raped or whatever, right? How many of those were from kids that were way too young to raise kids and just the best thing for them was possibly to make that choice that they did.
that's one way to look at it. But then there's the other side. How many of them were persuaded when they went into that place? They were persuaded that this was the best option because you can't afford future care of this child.
Well, my question is
can't
this: how you
afford
know
to
how you know
feed.
they was persuaded?
I
don't-
said we don't. I
Okay,
said,
so
and so that's why I'm
I mean,
putting
you
it out.
You don't
Skew
know-
it either way.
You can't sit there and
So-
say, okay, they get in there and they persuading you to go ahead and have a abortion.
Right, but
They're
what
giving
we're
you- if
doing,
they're giving
we're
you all the options.
But either way, we're speculating, and the facts are that Margaret Sanger was a devil, and I say that because of her hatred for a particular race. So we don't know when a person walk in there. Wait, we don't
Okay.
know when they walk into the clinic and have this abortion performed. We don't know what the motive was. So we don't know if they were raped or if they were coerced. We don't know that. So we just dealing with numbers. Numbers are what they are. So we do have another video. I think we want to check it out.
I'm going to talk about my illegal abortion, and I'm going to talk about what it was like to go to a doctor's office late at night and to have an abortion without anesthesia. I'm going to talk about that occurring when I was an adult, a nurse, teaching labor and delivery nursing, and too embarrassed to ask the doctors with whom I worked on a daily basis for birth control. And having a birth control, contraceptive failure. I'm going to talk about how upset the doctor was when I didn't come back from my post-abortion examination because he was afraid that I had gone to the police. And when he saw me in the hospital, he grabbed me and said, "What happened to you? Why didn't you come back? I told you to come back." And he scolded me and rebuked me on the hallway of the hospital. And all I wanted to do was just to get on with my life and not to talk about it any longer. And I'm not ashamed to talk about it. I'm ashamed to think, however, that if I didn't talk about it, that some ground will be lost because young women will believe that it was all, manufactured and it wasn't all that bad. It was bad. So I think that our stories can be enormously powerful because they are about living real human beings, not about theoretical descriptions in feminist literature.
Now,
You
she
know-
was a black woman.
I have some interesting information that that we ran across. In the Netherlands, abortion was freely available to anyone, yet they have the lowest abortion rate in the world. But abortion is accessible. How could that even be? So I dug a little deeper and found that they do offer free contraception. They do offer classes in most of their schools that are advanced sexual education. So basically, they are pro-abortion, anti-abortion. They're educating. How do you have access to something so simple yet you don't get it? It's because you don't need it. It's about prevention. It's not about if a woman's persuaded, because I guarantee you once she's hit that door, nobody can persuade her because her mind is made up. You've driven into the abortion parking lot. You've dealt with the picketers, videos, whatever it may be. You've stepped in the doors knowing you're getting rid of your baby. You're persuaded before you walk in.
But Jill, there's some facts, and I can't say names, but I know people personally
Same.
that actually went to the abortion clinic
Same.
and they were persuaded and they walked out with the baby, still carrying the child. So that works both ways. So persuasion is what it is, and it could go to the left or to the right.
That's with anything.
And that's what I was going to
Yeah.
say. So that's with anything. But what I want to focus on is the video that we just watched. So I would like to talk about that particular video, that woman. And so can we identify who the woman was?
That was Faye Waddleton. She was the black president of the same organization that we're saying was targeting black people.
Planned Parenthood, yeah.
And she was the longest running president
Yes.
ever.
Yes. Yeah.
which is mind blowing.
Which I was going to say, why is it
It's
mind-blowing when if you heard all the services that they provide?
Right. But that's not the narrative.
Hold on. It is the narrative.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Okay.
Saying that
No, because if all the services they provided for a community,
Yes.
even though it started off one way and was moved to a whole nother narrative, let's focus on a good narrative that is at where it's at, not where it started. Exactly. Because if we keep focusing on where it started, we'll get nowhere.
So what you're saying, your stand is you believe it has changed. So today you
It
don't
haven't
believe.
changed.
I'm asking you a question.
You just heard
Do
all
you
the services
believe-
they provide. You saying it haven't changed.
I can see that we can go down this rabbit hole. Do you believe? I still believe it is what it is, and until they let go, until people let go and disconnect from the legacy of Margaret Sanger, I believe it is what it is. Yes,
that's my belief. Hold on, didn't you just hear what the young lady just said? She went through an illegal abortion.
Yes.
Okay.
Continue.
Why? I mean, she went through an illegal abortion. If somebody wanted to go to a legitimate abortion, they have a place to go to.
I believe
Hold on, they have a
that.
place that they can feel comfortable and safe. They have a place where they can go get birth control without being judged. So if they have a place like that, and even though it started way over here, now it's way over here, you still gonna hold on to that?
No, because
That's what you're doing.
First, I need you to,
still holding on to this side.
First, I need you to calm down so our audience can understand what we're trying to say here tonight. So here's my perspective.
You still holding on.
Not that it matters. Here's my perspective. What I'm saying is for cause Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood.
Parent,
You need to calm down.
whatever.
It sounds like you need to calm down.
In the area. There for a particular cause. So, but what I'm saying is, yes, the good part is that they are there and they are available if someone chooses to get a safe abortion. I understand that. So I'm not speaking pro-choice or pro-abortion. What I'm saying is what this person founded this company on, her beliefs. And so, yes, it is what it is. So we don't want to stay there
more than
because
abortion.
we have cover.
Yeah, it has more than abortion.
We have so much more
it
to
holds
cover.
more than abortion. But we go on to the
We
next
just gonna
thing.
let Eric of his whole discussion and talking.
I'm just saying.
So because he get me stressed out, I need to drink. So it is. So anyway, so the point is we have a lot to discuss because we don't just want to focus on abortion.
Right.
Okay. So with that being said, we have anything else that you guys want to share about the video? I don't know if we talked about.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the lady in the video, which she was the president and the one that established, Planned Parenthood where it is. But the problem is that we don't know the whole story of Planned Parenthood. That's why we have a whole lot of jaded opinions. Right. As James asked earlier, was it targeted? And initially, let's put it in a context. And I'm going to set both you and Dr. V straight. What Planned Parenthood is now is not what the formation of what Margaret Sanger, they use some of her principles. So let's understand that Planned Parenthood is not the organization in which she actually founded. They use some of her principles, they use some of her ideas, and they morphed from that. But as an actual organization, it was not banned as Planned Parenthood. So I understand how they connected and all that, but he is actually right on this one, Doc V.
Well, right or wrong, my point is this. Okay, so listen. Here's my point. So and what I'm saying is I'm not against Planned Parenthood, so I need that to be clear.
Right, I'm not saying you're against it.
Okay, no, but what I'm saying is, I'm saying Margaret Sanger. I believe that they they, meaning the people that's running Planned Parenthood and the organizations, whatever they're called, they need to let go of the legacy of Margaret
I can agree
Sanger.
with that.
Period.
I can
That
agree
is
with
what
that.
I'm saying.
I can agree with that.
Okay, that's my point.
All right.
All right. Now,
you long
so
enough to
so let's move outside of abortion, because that's one thing. We have so many other things. So when it comes to birth control, what is your perspective on birth control, and especially from a religious perspective?
Well, I believe in choice. I believe in free choice. I believe everybody has the right to choose. And I'm going to open with that statement because I got a whole lot to say later. But I'm going to open with this statement is I believe in free choice.
something else in
I
here,
believe in free choice. But, certain religions and certain cultures do not believe in birth control. Catholic Church is one of them. They're big on you can't even not be Catholic but work for the Catholic Church. And you are supposed to sign a contract stating that you will not do anything to alter birth. Birth is supposed to be natural. You can't be on birth control. You can't even be fertilized. They believe that birth is natural. So certain religions and things, and so you have to accept that if you work for somebody like the Catholic Church, you can't even discuss or partake. And they don't have to pay for your birth control in their insurance, the Catholic Church.
Yeah, the Amish are the same way in terms of the birth control for religious purposes.
I think birth control is beneficial to the community as a whole. I think it serves a great purpose to give people that option. But my biggest concern is when you deal with birth control, the ladder thereof, from birth control to the actual abortion itself. Let's leave Planned Parenthood out of the whole conversation, right? And if we were to discuss abortion, right, wrong, or indifferent, is it murder?
Some would say it's a form of homicide for sure.
I would say yes.
And then you have those that believe at a certain stage it is not. And, so you have people say at the first sound of heartbeat, it would be. And let's say it is. Then if this person was impregnated through sex trafficking or rape or incest, what do you think from that perspective?
From that perspective,
From that perspective.
Is it okay for me to say something? Sure. Okay. From that perspective, yes. If you've been raped, molested, taken advantage of, and you end up pregnant, you already suffered enough.
What about in the sense of stealthing? Okay, so the young lady is consensual in the act of intercourse, but the young man pulls this move that is called stealthing. California is trying to make it an unlawful right.
Opening doors. Go ahead.
Okay, so stealthing. So this young man, in the midst of the act, he slips the condom off. To her knowledge, he has the condom on. And so she now gets pregnant.
That's too much work.
Okay. So what do you think about that? So now she's pregnant and she wants to get an abortion.
Hey, I'm like Clarence. I'm pro-choice. I'm that person. Hey, if that's what you believe in, if that's what you want to do, that's on you. I have no heaven or hell to put you in.
Okay.
Period.
And so is it the same? I'm just saying, so if we bring this home, for those of you that have children, if you make this personal, your child, a relative, I don't know, somebody, bring it home closer to you. Is it the same thought or does it change?
I want to go back to your last statement. And I just want to say, if it's really about being pro-life, so there's a life at 6 weeks, whether that life was conceived by rape or consensual sex, if we're really talking about the life, it's equal. That's where I have an issue, is people will say, well, they were raped. Yeah, absolutely, which is terrible. But how is that embryo, if it's a baby and a life already, any less worthless than another embryo?
But I don't know if you would say
Just
worthless or less worthless. But for those women, I'll speak for those women that may have been in that position where they were raped. And a young lady could have been raped by, and this is sad to say, but it happens, her father and to have to give birth to that child, I don't want to touch that. And so I want to leave that in the position that's where I say pro-choice.
Right.
That's your choice.
Absolutely.
You have to deal with God. That's between you and God, how that works out. So, would it be right for me to try to make that person feel bad, to try to talk them into the abortion or whatever? I would stand clear.
Right.
I would hope I never have to be in that position to make that type of decision or help anybody with that.
All right. Now, because I know our time is going to get out, and they told me I can't preach my whole sermon, so
He is too excited to talk
I'm
about.
gonna make this real quick.
One of the things I want to say, one of the things we want to talk about is the man's perspective
That's where I want to go. Right
on
there.
birth control.
That's where I want to go. Right there. Is that door open for me? Can I go with this one?
Please do.
First and foremost, I really want to point my state out. I'm not against abortion. I'm for whatever the freedom of choice you have. That's the foundation of our country. You can choose whatever. I don't have to take care of that child. You have to take care of that child if you want it or not. I want to make it plainly clear. I'm not for abortion. I'm not against abortion. I have no opinion on it as to having it, but I don't agree with it. Let me put it to my personal. I don't personally agree with abortion, and I do feel that it's a taking of a life. Now, with that being said, Doc V, you hit a subject that I was just thinking about. You said the stealthing. I do think that's a crime. That's just as bad as you having sex with somebody and not telling them you have HIV. That's a crime. I do believe that. But let's talk about...
Especially when you're removing that, you can get the ST.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about forced fatherhood. Y'all ready for this? Let's talk about forced fatherhood.
No one has forced you, has it?
Hold on.
This
Left up to him,
seems
yeah.
pretty personal.
No. I believe in what's right. And y'all talking about the women's right to choose. Somebody on this panel, I ain't going to say this, but in our planning, they said, unless you have the things to make a baby, you can't talk about abortion. Mm-hmm. That's not true. In no state is there a provision for a father to be able to stop an abortion. Why? Because they say that's unconstitutional and that's ruled against the woman's right to choose. Mm-hmm. All right, that's a problem. Because what if you're married? Do you know a husband does not have a right to abortion? He has no say. They're married. The Bible says when two join as one, they become one. Mm-hmm. Am I wrong? In a marriage, a woman can go have an abortion. She doesn't have to tell her husband. The doctor doesn't even have to tell her husband. Now, what is a husband sitting up there wanting to be a father, striving to be a father? And this woman decides, you're deciding if this man is going to be a father or not. Is that fair to that man?
You want to drink?
No, I'm good. We talking about the woman's choice and the woman's right. What about this father? I'm not talking about a boyfriend. I'm not talking about a side dude. I'm not talking about that. That's what you do.
So is he going to start paying child support at 6 weeks in the womb?
Let's talk about forced fatherhood.
That's my question.
Hold
First,
on.
Wait a minute. Hold on. So you
No,
finna-
you gonna
finna
get the
jump into something that you really don't want to do.
No.
It's
Y'all
okay,
said
Jim.
the father's perspective. I really want to know, as a husband, not in a marriage, when you commit, you can't buy in a marriage. When you buy a house, you sign a house. Everything going jointly, but you can't tell me that us starting a family that we got married to do. It's your choice to decide when I'm gonna become a father.
But you're not carrying the baby.
Is it your choice?
It has to be somebody's choice.
Why? We're in a marriage.
Because it has to
Why
be
do you
somebody's.
Why do you have the right to
This
go
has
do it
been-
without
This has
me?
been an argument forever.
Yeah, there
I'm
would
sure
be
this
way too
goes
many
way
gray
back.
areas.
Listen, this goes
No, it's
way
not any gray
back.
areas. It's
Listen,
not any gray
this
areas.
goes
no
way
gray
back
area.
to when women were putting Lysol in, trying to prevent the sperm cell for catching hold. I'm just saying. There's all types of
There
different
has to be
things. It
some
goes
kind of
way
change. There
back
has
to
to be
then.
some kind of change. There
Yeah. Google that and look
Yeah.
it up. So birth
Okay.
control way
Okay.
back when,
Now-
before there was a such thing.
Now we're gonna move. She was talking about child support, and
Yeah,
you talked about.
I was
stealthing.
gonna say,
I'm gonna
so-
talk about forced fatherhood. In 2006, Matt Dubé, Saginaw, Michigan, he was in a relationship with a young lady.
Mm-hmm.
They agreed that they were not going to have children. She was going to maintain birth control, whatever. They ended up breaking up. The woman, after this, found out she was pregnant. Now, he was in the agreement that they weren't going to have children. She decided she wanted this baby. she forced him into fatherhood after an agreement that they were not going to have children. He took this to court, to the Michigan Supreme Court. They dismissed this case because he had no grounds. And in any other state, a verbal contract is a verbal contract. So she verbally agreed.
Now, why you?
No, I'm being fair. Y'all talking about the woman's right.
I just say
This
you
this
fight
man
so
was
hard for that.
because y'all talking about.
Yeah, because we
the
never
woman-
had
how
an
many people
argument
go
against
into-
anything
I was
that
gonna
you
say,
just said.
and that, and I'm
Yes, you
just
did.
saying.
Yes, you did. When y'all were talking about the woman's right
I'm
to
saying,
have
you
an
know
abortion.
how many times a couple have verbal agreements that they won't
But
do
still,
Right.
is
XYZ and they
was
do.
was it his fault when they agreed that she decided to keep the baby? Now understand, I'm
So
just
what do
talking
you
about
think should
what's
happen
right.
so we can get to the nitty gritty? In your heart, you
I
feel like what
think-
should happen?
I think that there should be some way, some provision, some
So
extenuation
you're saying
cases.
in your perfect world that you would say, okay, I want you to get this abortion woman, and the woman should say, okay.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
I'm saying in certain extreme cases,
Let's-
because there's extreme
let's-
cases for everything.
Okay, what is it?
Fathers should, first of all, you should notify, because think about this. Y'all talking about the abortion. I'm going to bring this all to a thing. If, no matter where I am in a child's life, if, no matter how effective I've been in this child's life, you decide to put that baby up for adoption. If my name is on that birth certificate, I can negate that adoption 20 years later. Well, not 20, but 10 years later, I can negate that adoption. So anything afterward I could do, but I can't decide, especially in marriage, if I want to be a father or not. What I'm saying is there has to be some extreme cases. There has to be some kind of,
I was going.
there has to be.
And I understand and I feel your passion, and I think it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. But you know how many men actually will jump up and drive their women to get a chemical abortion? Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just saying they do it all the time.
But,
and a lot of times,
but how many, Doc V, for every argument you have, there's fathers that have not been knowing, expecting their wives. I had a miscarriage. She went and had an abortion.
but I'm just saying a lot of times, so it can
So-
go either
so
way.
it can go either
so
way.
So they can go get the morning after pill, et cetera, et cetera. Either way, they're, if they don't want it, those two people have to be in agreement.
But-
And that's why it should be
exactly.
consensual.
But-
if it's not, then these are the things that surface. That's what birth
I think
control
C-Stat's
is.
argument is that is not fair the way you look at it.
The
And
way
by
some women look at
the man not having any choice and not to beat it in the ground, I mean, it's real. The man is forced into fatherhood if he's not ready, if he doesn't want it. Like, choice is just not there.
So what he has a choice to do what? Zip it.
You have
Yeah.
a choice to protect yourself
Exactly.
too.
That's what I'm saying. So it's a choice and it's a chance. Anybody
So,
know.
so
First
what
of
need
I'm
to have to be more responsible.
Wait a minute.
But the truth is,
you talk about stealthing, and I'm sitting here just being quiet, and I really wanted to say this. You talk about stealthing. Guess how many women and sit in line say, "No, I can't have kids," knowing doggone
that
well
too.
they can have kids just to trap them in forced fatherhood.
That's never
Yeah.
right either.
So
So at the end of the day, you can't just sit and blame us. It does, I mean, some scandalous stuff.
I
Now,
think they scandalous on both sides.
We agree with
women
you.
are more.
Go wholeheartedly
I ain't gonna
agree
go
with
there.
you
I'm
on
just
that one.
saying.
So the moral of the story is abortion itself is choice, right?
Yeah, it's choice.
It's really choice, just fairness across the board. Is that what we're
Yes.
saying?
Right.
So we're in a place where, man, we just want people to be able to do what they feel they need to do for their
Right.
life.
Right, but I
There's
think
But
alternatives.
understand
There's alternatives.
what they're doing.
And,
For
educated
the
and
about what
like
Educate yourself.
adoption and, so different things like that. So there's other
Educate yourself.
alternatives.
Right, and again, we
Def-
never know somebody's story.
That's right.
we never know what somebody's going through. We shouldn't judge.
no, I'm
It's
not
amazing.
judging, and we're gonna get out of here. I know we got to get out of here.
Yeah, because
And-
I've
and
never seen you guys so passionate about a subject
it's-
like
it's-
this. The men.
I only want to say this because men get such a bad rap. We get it all. We deadbeats. We don't take care of our children.
never say that.
I'm just saying it's public.
Boy.
But when we don't have a choice in some of the cases, or in some of the cases where we want to be good fathers, we don't have that choice. I don't feel, especially in marriage, and that's where I'm just going to say about marriage. That's why I don't feel that if we decide everything else together, you should be able to decide when I'm going to become a father.
Yeah, that's. Ooh, I'd like to get some feedback from some people on that. I don't know. I've never been in that position. So, anyway, with that, birth control. I didn't know it was going to go down there. I got like 5 pages of notes I didn't get to, but it is what it is. Jill, how about something? How you gonna let us exit on this? Let's see what you got.
Life
Beautiful.
is a journey. We all take different paths, regardless of what's going on in our life. If you're feeling frightened about what comes next, don't be. Embrace the uncertainty. Allow it to lead you places. Forgive yourself and forgive others. Enjoy the present, as each moment, when it comes, there will never be another moment like it. If you ever find yourself lost, simply take a deep breath and start over tomorrow. And if you should find another soul who is lost, reach out, because that is the fee that we pay to live here on earth.
Wow, that's amazing. That's beautiful. And this is Neutral Voices, reminding you to click like and share and subscribe to our YouTube page. We will see you tomorrow for the Voice of the People. Good night.
Be encouraged.
What the people really want, what they what the people really want.
Chase 405 is the freeway, slanging my, banging my, swinging my coupe. DeVille, scoop.